Oh my goodness! Woo! I have a confession to make, guys. I'm in love with budget keyboards. Oh my gosh, have you guys heard of the Akko 5075S? It's a 75% layout keyboard that comes in just under $60. I got one just recently to try it for myself. While taking a look at the box, oh my gosh, it's got adjustable height. Okay, calm down, calm down. Oh my god, the knob! I can't wait to open this thing. You know what else I cannot wait? You guys pressing the subscribe button. Thanks. I gotta say, no matter the price range of the Akko products, it comes in a really well sorted packaging. In the box, we have a switch puller, keycap puller, and some extra gasket when things go wrong. Taking a look at the keyboard real quick, it feels solid and surprisingly heavy. I got the dark night color. I have to say the matte finish on the surface looks really pretty. Pressing down on the plate and the PCB has a lot of flex. Usually it transfers to typing on a smoother and cloudy surface instead of the hard rock bottom. The USB-C port is on the left hand side of the board, and we have a Mac and Windows switch in the bottom of the case. This keyboard also comes with the height adjustable feet. Plugging the Akko 5075S for the first time is such a pleasure. The RGB refreshing rate is so high, it doesn't hurt your eyes to look at. It's really pretty to look at from the side, and the side diffuser also works really well, unlike some of the competitors out there. The diffuser on this keyboard is a lot better than even some of the more expensive products out there. Looking at the dial knob, it's made out of a metal. Probably having some sort of a texture knob would have been very nice because it's slippery to use. Overall though, it's got a pretty nice feeling when using it. It does not feel like a plastic or cheap when you're rotating it around, though it does wobble a lot. Testing out the gasket performance in this keyboard, I don't think Akko is using some sort of a foam gasket. I mean, from the sound of the squeak and the firmness of the gasket tells me it's a silicone gasket. Well, I should have already known that from the extra gasket patch provided from the Akko. Though the PCB and the polycarbonate plates are already flexible enough, I think it will absorb the vibration pretty well. So how does this sound? Well, it's time to test out the sound for the keyboard. First, I need to provide some switches for the board. These are called the Everglide Aqua King. They come in 35 packs, so I had to get 3 bags of these guys. The housing, the stem, and everything is made with a polycarbonate material. It's one of the smoothest switches I've tried. It's nearly as smooth as Zeal PC Turquoise, and I love how transparent they are. I hope that I can utilize some RGB on this keyboard today. So the keycaps. I actually don't know what kind of keycaps these are. I know I got it from Drop. I just don't remember when I got it. I wasn't really going to use this keycaps until I was like, well, it's got a backlit shine to it, so why not just utilize this keycaps on this keyboard? It will match the Dark Knight theme pretty good. I mean, putting everything all together, this keycap actually looks really slick. It really matches the theme of the Dark Knight pretty well. So, how does the Dark Knight sound like? Let's find out. Honestly, not bad. Only mod I've done so far is to lube the switches. Other than that, the steps hasn't been lubed yet. The board doesn't feel too hollow either. However though, I think I can improve on the sound department with some mods. I want to talk about the switches real quick, because this switch has some really interesting characteristic. You can operate these switches with just little as 15 grams of force, but all of a sudden when you start pressing it down, the weight of the switch increases. I actually kinda like it. Well, how about take this keyboard apart and see what's inside of it. The board isn't held by any screws. The top case is actually latched with the bottom case, and it's really hard to pull it apart together. It took me a few minutes to actually take the top case out. And inside of the board, the PCB and the bottom plates are connected with the wire. All you gotta do is just pull the wire out. And looking closely at the PCB, the gasket is indeed silicone. Now I do prefer foam gasket, but I think it does cost manufacturers more to produce. The reason why I don't prefer the silicone gasket is because it tended to feel pretty firm, so it doesn't absorb the vibration as effectively as a foam gasket. Half of the bottom case is covered with the silicone molding, and it's really great to have those already installed in your keyboard. It adds weight to the case, and it also helps with the vibration through the keyboard. Looking in between the bottom case and the PCB, there was some room to fill up with, so I'll be putting some very soft foam in between. Having switch pads really helps with the softening harsh bottom out noise. Taking a look at the middle part of the PCB again, you can see that the PCB is kinda covered with the oil from the pre-lubed steps. I'll definitely need to clean that out. And another silicone between the plate and the PCB to reduce the harsh sound. Now, there's a lot going here compared to the price. I mean, there are premium keyboards that don't even come with the half of what this keyboard offers. This is amazing. First thing I'm gonna do is use the PE foam that came with the keyboard to wrap around the whole PCB. Just by doing this whole mod will actually act like a tape mod plus a PE foam mod on your PCB. Now I know I'm still gonna keep the switch pad plate that Akko already gave me. I'm just gonna use this on top of it. After cutting the PE foam along the side of the shape of the PCB, it's time to remove the foams where the stabs are going to be. Akko 5075S comes with the plate mount stabs. I did this with every PE foam as the stabs hitting the surface that isn't hard, it's going to ruin the bottom out feeling. It also sounds really annoying. I'm almost done here. I just need to put everything back together, and the screws to the PCB to the plate again. Putting everything together was pretty easy and seems to be fitting pretty good. The PE foam that I used to wrap around the whole PCB doesn't add too much thickness to the whole thing, so the switches still should be able to function. I'm also going to be lubing my stabs, and also put tapes around the whole plate area where the stabs are going to be going into. This will secure the stabs not to be so wobbly. For the bottom case, I'll be putting very thin memory foam. This will help with the filling up the hollow sound from the stock sound. And this foam is thin enough where it doesn't actually hurt the performance of the gasket. And all I have left to do is just putting everything all together, switches, keycaps and everything. And shall we compare the sounds now? Here's the stock keyboard first. I love it. It sounds so much more clear, and I can say this keyboard does stock. Honestly, one of the best budget keyboard out there. I believe if you just lube the switches and use a better keycap sets, I mean, you can just use this keyboard as a stock, no problem. What other budget keyboards do you guys like? Do leave a comment down below, and I see you guys next time.